right, a very beautiful day. Thank you so much for joining the foundation of. My name is Charles Eromosele, and I'm always very excited and happy to be with you every single Sunday by 4 p.m. for the foundation's success. No, I'm very happy you could join in because we'll be touching on some very important things that I believe is critical to our success. When I say our, I'm not just going to be referring to you, but myself and every other thing that I'm doing presently to ensure that the excellence within whatever one is called to can be shown every now and then. So welcome to the show again. And today we're going to be talking about how to become a person of influence. We are where we are as a result of the influences that we've had in our past. And the most important thing about becoming influential is that the future will also have a disregard or no regard for you until you can really understand how to create that multi-dimensional and influential person that the world needs to know. I believe we are where we are presently because of several cultural influences, several influences regards to the kind of friends that we have, the places that we work, the kind of things that we do, and all around us there are influences. But it becomes very important for you to understand that if you're someone that's really going to be very, very important to the things that you've been called to do in life, you need to understand that you need to build influence around the things that you've been called, influence around the things that makes you important. Why is this very critical? Because we're in an age and time where things are really going to become a bit critical in terms of, the expectations of businesses or business owners or your customers, the expectation of people that are, I will refer to as audience for the kind of potential, the kind of you have. Every single person listening to me right now, you have something that you have that the world is looking for. Some of you may not have just discovered it yet, but some of you have discovered it, but you're poorly using it. So it becomes very important for you to understand that until you can build a level field of influence around what you've been called to do or what you've been called into, you're not going to get into that space where you can do things conveniently. There's nobody that's out there that seemed to live a carefree life, that wanted to live that kind of life. They got to where they got to or where they are presently as a result of the influence around them. You see, you are also a product of the influence you've had till this moment. The place I actually want to start from is to make you understand that every single person that's listening to my voice right now, every single person has a degree of influence that the world is looking for. Influence can be positive, influence can be negative. But one of the most important things you need to first of all do, if you're first of all to be a person of influence, number one, is that you must readdress the question about identity. Who am I? It becomes very important because influence, first of all, let me define what influence is. Influence is basically two important things: the capacity to create effect. Let me be very raw, and give you some certain things. For example, when I started Foundation for Success, my mind came, who's going to listen to you? You haven't been in this space for too long, and you get thoughts like, you try to get into perspective that you lose out of your vision. And that's one of the most dangerous things we do in life. That's why some people never do what they are called to do. I know they die regretting life. Listen, don't live your life by people's impression of you. That is the poorest person on the face of the earth. People that live by, impressions. What are people thinking? Listen, it's their mind. They are entitled to what they think. It is their mind. They are entitled, to what they think about. It's not your mind. Listen to me. All the greatest people that you know about that have made wave in life, that are present stars, people you can call folks as a part of history. There are people that didn't give a damn about what anybody was thinking. For as long as what they were doing was right, for as long as what they were doing was good, great, good and good, create a lot of great effect around, people just kept doing that over and over again, until they became till they come to that point of success. Listen, anytime you have a dream, your dream is going to be attacked by certain pressure points. And one of the pressure points that attack our dreams, one of the reasons some of you are not doing what you are called to do right now is because you have given your time more to impression. Remember, I'm talking about identity. So One of the things that actually prevent people from becoming who they truly are supposed to be is the impression they have about themselves and the impression they have about the world around them. And if you're going to rise, to that place of relevance, that place of understanding your worth, and for that place where people can understand your own worth and place value on you, the first thing you need to do is that you need to start branding yourself. Personal branding is very important. That's what about identity. So not just identity now, you have to create a personal brand. You see, some certain stories are really so for me are very no testimonies are very important. Something happened some years ago, but I think that was maybe around 2013, 2014, where I had kept on posting regularly, and I kept on doing it. Daily I would get calls, daily I would see texts, and people would say, "Oh, you changed my life in this area." For as long as you live, people are going to look at you and find you to be a model. Model. There's nothing wrong about that. There are certain people that actually are mentees to me. And in as much as I'm humbled to have them as mentees, I am very privileged. I feel very happy and blessed that I can serve them. Okay. So these people actually take some of my points and go, and I'm happy. Why? What that means that one person is able to create an influence around a particular subject, around a particular thing of interest, and every other person can take that thing, and use it to impute and bless more lives. That's the most important thing. So for some of the weeks now, we'll be having foundation of success. I actually discovered that some people have actually been sharing some of this thing down to their friends, to their families. And that is amazing. Why? Because truth is never for sale. So wherever you find it and it creates an impact on you, go ahead and make sure that the word gets to hear it. Now, there's always this feeling. Now, do I feel blessed getting that? Yes. Because the truth of the matter, it's not about popularity in that word. Because I'm also going to talk about the danger behind that. The reason some people never do what they are called to is because they feel, nobody's going to get attracted. They are not popular. No, get rid of that mentality. Listen, this same program, you can mark my words, this same program called Foundation of Success, you are going to be amazed where this program is going to be in another 5 years from now. Why? Because I'm taking it easy. I don't, if nobody ever, gets on the line, and clicks on Foundation of Success, I'm not going to feel perturbed. You know why? Because I've always seen a consistent trend with someone that actually stays on place of greatness. Things you think you must have done in the past, they have a way of coming into your future. And somebody say, wow, let's take, for example, things that are happening to some of the great guys that you know right now. Do you know that some of them, they have been doing things for several years? For example, TG Takes. They've been doing this for several years. Nobody ever knew them. But the moment they came into limelight, guess what? Every single thing they did in years past also became very a part of their story that everybody wanted to listen to. Okay. So what am I trying to say? Whatever is positive, whatever is right is never for waste. Go find what you've been called. That's a level of influence that the world is looking for that you have. And guess what happens? Because you have not come to your place of influence, there is a darkness in that particular area. Now, sometimes, we get to see artists and, we say, okay, let's take, for example, in Africa, this artists get to sing, about, a ladies behind, and stuff like that. Listen, that is actually becoming much more popular because they are the one occupying the space of that influence. Okay. But what if we have people that understand inspiration and they're able to create some excellence around what they do, like what I'm doing right now? This could have just been any other call any other person would do. But guess what? I put a sense of excellence in it in the studio. Now, that's the most important thing. So you must understand that for you to create influence, you must put a level of excellence around what you do. Influential is not about money. That's another thing that actually keeps a lot of people from becoming influential. Listen, if you listen to me on the sound of my voice, you have what it takes. You just need to find your seed. Very important. Listen to me. Find your seed. Listen to me again. Find your seed. What is your seed? You can never know what identity is until you find your seed. What are your seeds? Seeds are things that have potential to become harvest. Seeds are things that have a potential, to become what everybody's looking for. So that's also what influence means. Whatever you call small will remain small. Foundation of Success is a work program. And because that's how I see it, that's what I call it, that's actually why you can see the whole level of excellence around it. That's a beautiful part of influence. When you create influence around what you love, remember that what you love actually becomes a positive comfort zone because you don't have any stress to me. That's exactly what I am now, what I feel like. This feels like breathing for me because this is what I do every now and then. If I can just get one person each day that I can speak life into, my day is made. Just one person. But imagine you can create a network like this where at the end of the day, you can reach more people, majority of people. Okay. So remember, the first thing you want to deal with if you're going to become a person of influence is identity. And by then, what do I mean? One of the things you want to destroy, especially as an African, is the word inferiority and the word also superiority complex. Listen, a pastor of mine years ago always told me, Pastor Courage, they always says these words, and they have actually become, something that I've actually lived with. He says this word, you're not better than anybody. But guess what? Nobody is better than you. I'll repeat that again. You are not better than anybody, and nobody is better than you. The truth of the matter is that we all have the same degree of wealth, but only very few people are willing to, get out there with the level of influence that makes people get attracted to them. I was going to tell you one story about something that happened years ago. I think in 2013 or 2014. So I was just doing my normal post, like I always do on Facebook, send posts that would just bless people and get to encourage people. I never knew that this particular individual in the United States is a Nigerian. It was at the US at the time. I never knew this guy was this known person. Is someone that's actually a bit known. Was actually looking at every single post that I would post on day, especially the ones that have to do with national development, national transformation, becoming, a person of influence in that time, it was eating everything. I had thrown this post that talked about, I think it talked about a bit about the responsibility of, everyone in diaspora towards, their fatherland, and so many other things. And guess what? The next time I'll hear from this guy, he had come to Nigeria. And I will never forget those words. Charles, there was something you say that made me, come into Nigeria. I want to see you. Now, I was in Kaduna and he had just landed. It was in Abuja. And he did everything he could get me to Abuja. Now, of course, you're going to feel happy, that you're able to do things that should influence people. And one person takes it it takes it very serious, especially on that level. So guess what? I took a trip down to Abuja. Now, another thing also that was actually amazing for me was that I get to see people, get to subscribe to my post. Everybody wants to meet me. Oh, I want to see you, Charles. I want to meet you. Even till now, I don't want to tell you the number of influences I get after this kind of, influence. So I got to Abuja and this guy was all over. He wanted to see me. So at the point I saw this guy, I saw a little bit of disappointment in his face. Now, what was disappointment? Now, the disappointment was, great stuff. He's hearing great things. So in his mind, there must have been this great person, in business, this great person in politics, this great person as a statesman in government, that he thought he was going to see. And he just saw this young looking child. But again, we became friends right from that day. And I won't lie, he also was part of influence on certain level. Because listen, influence also is one way you can light the fire on greatness, because you need to do something that people can see. And somebody sees someone and say, we want that guy. That is the guy that we want. That is the person that we want. And then on several, I could tell you several over and over again where speaking engagement, in the top places, big place, I've actually been as a result of my Facebook page. So at the time, we did a little bit of research and discovered that about 95% of my referrals came from Facebook. Talking about influence. Now, this is just a guy doing what he's been called to do. Purpose doesn't sleep. I do it morning, night, evening, just encouraging people. That took me on radio, and I kept on doing that over and over again, and doors were opening. And guess what? Every single time you respect your seed of influence, guess what happened? A whole larger room began to open. And that's actually how I got to radio. I got on TV. Okay? Somebody had heard what I said, and then another person had it, and okay, we just must have this guy on TV. It was very important. One day I will never forget was when there was a particular crisis that I think a riot had just broke in town, I think specifically Kaduna, and the value, I will never forget that day. I was called upon to come get on radio as fast as possible. Why? You just may never know the effects of what you do, how you do it, and the audience that you reach. So please make sure that whatever you have around you, whatever you call a potential, actually is being exercised. So one question I have for you right now: what are you influential for? What are you doing presently that can be that symbol of influence? That can be that thing that people are looking for. So in other words, Influence is progressive. And so you must understand how to start. You must understand how to bypass, the certain hindrances to allow your influence to actually shine out. So that's actually one question I have for you this very day. What are you influential in? I believe that the ills we have in society, the reason why negative influences seem to bring over positive influence, because there are only very few people that are on the positive side, trying to make known to others what they do. It's either you are letting people see what you do, but you are not doing with the level of attraction, because that's another thing you need to understand. I'm going to speak about that in some few minutes when I'm talking about influence, becoming personal influence in business. So, but it doesn't matter for you to now be an original. You also need to be able to find the right way to send the right message to the right audience. And that becomes very important. So, like I said, the problem with you is not that what you have is not positive, what you have cannot be accepted by everyone, but the way and nature you do it is different. So you need to find those places. This is actually why it becomes very important to, in whatever you have as a potential, as a ensure that you have somebody that can serve as a mentor. Ensure you have somebody that can serve as a coach. It becomes very important because some of you, why this is very emotional for me, because I have met some people that are very extremely gifted. But you know why their gifting have actually not come to that place of influence is because, of the limited mindset that they have, and they're trying to with their own energy. So remember, so you need to work around the things that you have been called into. Don't give up easily. Don't be that kind of person that's influenced by everybody around. Some of you need to be advocate for certain people that are vulnerable. It becomes very important. This is actually why anybody that knows me, my heart is actually very dear to a lot of NGOs because of this kind of thematic area, this kind of happenings. Nobody in life deserves to feel empty. Nobody in life deserves, to feel less than another human being. And listen, if there's anybody on call, if there's anybody that you know that makes you feel less than yourself, that person is the most ignorant person on the face of the earth. I don't know how to stay around people that don't have values for others. It gets me. I dislike it with every sense. It's really very annoying. There was this time, several years ago also, I was in this very car, this very expensive car. The roofs were up. And when you have that kind of neighborhood called Kaduna, you're like, whoa, this really is amazing. And, the air breeze, you feel cool. Now I was with this guy, and this is somebody everybody would love to be with. He has the money, the millions, he's very close to superstars, in the country and so many. So everybody wants to be around this kind of person. So I was privileged by virtue of what I was going to do for him and what he has actually found me to be someone that really can give him the value that I was looking for. Now we're going to the car and he has passed this particular spot, the government house. He had passed this particular turn in the road. And there was this other man that had a car that was not really a new car, an old car, by the way. And I think the guy may have been trying to get into the road and not seeing him. And he got angry, of course, because the guy, he felt, how could somebody with this kind of old car, come to this my car that as a then that car may may have been, from what I heard, that car at that time could be worth about 20 something million then. Okay. So, but what got me pissed off, of course, I can't be pissed off right there in the car, but automatically I have cut off completely from that person. And that was the last time I was ever going to be around that person, irrespective of what the person has or who the person is. He said something, he called that person, he called him a very, very derogative name that, man, it's almost as if my heart sank into my stomach. I feel no human being deserves to call another person anything. Whatever you have has been as a result of the privilege that God has given you. Listen, the day you die, you're going down. There's nothing, you're not going to die with your wealth. So it pays to treat people with regard, treat people with respect, treat people, honorably. And so it becomes very important for you. So you understand what am I trying to say? Let me don't debate. So, but I need to debate into that for you to understand that the reason why some people are still on the lower part of the ladder in terms of the middle class, social class, the poor, is because you have no reason up to place you need to rise up. That's actually why we have programs like this. Because if I don't get to inspire someone like you may not be able to take that dream and get out there and do something. There's someone that had, had this kind of feeling. I say, and say, oh, I have this, I will do something. And I kept telling the person, go and get an NGO registered. I'm so happy to hear that that person actually doing that person is doing what the person was gifted to do, and lives have been transformed in that process. Whereas as another person I told, the person started thinking about all the, what people are going to say, I'm doing this now, this person is going to feel this way, I don't have the resources. Listen, whatever you do in life, the first thing in life is not about financial capital. Anybody that have been with me through seminars for the past 5 years, or I always say this, the most important thing in life is not financial capital. The most important is intellectual capital and then social capital. Because whatever money you're looking for is going to come from the social capital that you have. A lot of times, not everything you have to go for a loan or everything you're going for. The reason why I am so happy right now, I've lived my life around, around understanding how to use it to get, how to use it to influence much. But what am I trying to say? At this moment, it is not it, but there's a sense of excellence around it. Okay, so you can use resource to get maximum resource. Of course, every other thing, like you're saying, costs quite a fortune. But at the same time, that does get to show you what I'm saying about you and why I value and why this is to the way that they put present. So remember, there's something that you have that the world is paying for. But if you don't stand up and become influential in that thing you've been called to, that potential that you have, guess what is going to happen? There's still going to be darkness around the place you've been called to. So the reason why we have people, going in the line of very dark morality, you cannot imagine what is happening in our society today. You really cannot imagine. You just sometimes need to go to certain of this circle, and you will cry. You will, some of you are the, just get to sleep early at 8 p.m. at 9 p.m. But sometimes workaholic like me, sometimes I maybe have to go to run a project for someone, going to speaking engagement, and between where you went to speak and where you live, it's a far distance, and sometimes you have to get back home around 10:30. You will understand what you see on the street. I was this time I was doing something around Grand Hotel in Asaba, Delta State, and I saw this particular lady. She was a whore. Now she had walked past. There was a major program going on there, and that was actually the period also where they they do all their marketing and the rest. And guess what happened? Later on in a dialogue, I got to understand that she was going to do everything she was going to do that night, and get back to her parents and give them the money. So this was not just about a person that have found a way to sell her body for money, but a family is living on that. I don't know if you understand, the old dilemma, the old fortunate scenario around this. Now, this was someone that was close to that particular lady that was telling me about the family because, I think she got a bit uncomfortable. Maybe she has sighted afar, to see, okay, that this far, they are looking at her and she seemed to know the person. I really would not know, but she went very far. So what am I trying to say? That just could be someone that could make that lady understand that maybe there's something else that you can do that can give you relevance, that can give you influence. Also, that's the same thing you see. Sometimes you get into people's social media, get on Instagram, and you see that a lot of ladies right now, they want to snap in a certain position, they want to put in a certain position, they want to, put on skimpy dress and so many things. Because as far as they're concerned, that is the thing that's in vogue right now. But guess what? Guess what? Guess what? These are difficult things to say in this kind of times. These are difficult things to bring on the media like this and say. But the truth of the matter is that if only they know better. But how can they know better if somebody like you that's called into, I believe somebody listening to me right now, that is where you're called, that's the particular field you're called into. Minister to those people. You can reach them before the world reaches them. They don't become, they are not looked at as human beings. They are looked at as tools, to fulfill somebody's desire. It's crazy. So a lot of people have actually their self-worth, they've lost their respect, they've lost their entire world because somebody somewhere would not rise and be a light in that atmosphere. There's someone I'm very proud of. Guess what he does? He stocks up his car with a whole lot of things, gifts and stuff, and get into certain neighborhood. And don't just give people gifts because it's so easy to be a giver, give away. It's very easy. But what you do after the giveaway, that's the most important thing. So after, when he does that, he's able to get this into a cluster, and tell them about building their self-worth, tell them about ask them questions like what do you want to be when you grow up, and you'll be amazed that some of people have dreams because they have toiled over and over again, and there's nobody that's encouraging them like Charles Wood through the foundation of success, foundation for success. They don't know that they have value that they want to for. Listen, you listen to me right now. Go back these words. In the next, if you give attention to some of these things I'm saying, in the next 2-3 years, you'll be amazed what you have been able to bring out of your life. But that's something you're doing right now. You think that is the main thing that's going to bring you that financial capital. That's mean that, but you'll be amazed that it's just something else you do in an area of light or purpose that will create that light. And guess what I discovered about God recently? Why I do everything I do with a sense of excellence and to the best of time, and with every single. There are people that want to be on calls with me. I am. My phone is always buzzing. There are people that want to be on meetings with me right now. But almost everybody within my social cluster already knows that once it's 4 p.m. on a Sunday, you are not going to get Charles. Charles is on this program called Financial Foundations. Now, it doesn't matter to me if you don't put relevance on it, but I put relevance on it because it's my own dream. So I don't listen to impressions. I don't get what I'm saying. So that is the die-hard feel. That's the die-hard attention you are going to need to give to your dreams. It becomes very, very important. Give that sense of devotion, that sense of attention to your dreams. So get back. What I want you to do right now, I always like giving an assignment. Get back with a diary, with something. Remember, I gave that assignment about 3 weeks ago when I said write down 10 things about yourself that you like, 10 things about yourself you don't like, and plans on how you can improve them. But this time, I want you to 3 things about yourself that can become your skills. Now, number one, you need to write down things about yourself that you love. That's great. But what you need to do right now, go find 3 states about yourself that have the promise to become, a habit tomorrow. So much can happen just by your ability to start up whatever is that thing that's in your heart. So that's actually how you become a person of influence. So, listen, becoming a person of influence doesn't have to be you have, because that's the mistake we have. So everybody is trying to strive so hard to be like every other person. Everybody is striving so hard, to think that you only become influential when you have money. Because in their mind, influence only belongs to the person that has money. Influence only becomes the person that has a stage. Listen, every person that has a stage, they didn't just get on stage. It took them years. It took them several things to get to their own stage. So why are you defining them from where they are now? Why not find a way to define them from where they started from? That's common sense. The person you are saying them, they did not have money. They were not born, their mother gave birth to them with money. No. What am I trying to talk about? Nobody actually got in this world with money. Influence came as a result of what people gave their time to, what they did, the dream that they boldly step out. Listen, you call Dangote today, there are many people that could have done better than Dangote, but they never had the audacity to actually come out and do better. So today you see the likes of Tony Elumelu of the UBA, Hairs Holding, and Tony Elumelu Foundation and all that. And you go, wow, great man, wealthy man and all that. But you remember the same Tony Elumelu when he was with Standard Trust Bank? You remember him before then, when life was, when he was doing all he was doing, to get to where he is right now. They discovered their seats early and they worked on their seat and they are where they are. The Oprah Winfrey you see today and here, Oprah really does just have on the scene. She was rejected several times, but she kept on doing what she loved, and today she's where she is. You want to talk about, I was going to actually play a video from Steve Harvey, to get to tell you this guy's story, having to sleep in a car. The Robo Kiyosaki that gave us the read that for that book and every of the sequel that have actually followed that, they didn't just arrive at the scene. They got to a point where they had lost their house, and both him and both Robo Kiyosaki and his wife, they had to sleep in their car. So what are you trying to tell me? Nobody ever arrived on the scene. Get that out of your mind. Nobody ever arrives on the scene of relevance, on the scene of influence. You have to work hard to get there. Remember, I talked about something there. If you listen to my video that I posted about 2 days or some few days ago, and I said PCM, positive, consistent motion. Positive, consistent motion. That's all you need. Keep doing the same thing over and over again till you become a professional in it. You can do it with a sense of excellence. When you start, you're not going to be all excellent. So this is actually another mistake. Some people start and they just feel, okay, oh, I didn't do it well. And then guess what happened? They just, just get out of the scene. No. It becomes very important for you to understand, that you have everything it takes within you to succeed. Only if you are willing to, first of all, like I say, identify your seed. And then the next question is, what can I do with my seed? What can I do with my seed? By the way, I wanted to actually go get, if you can get on Amazon, I think that's the only place right now you can get my book, Developing Your Gift by Charles. So you want to get to Amazon and get that. By the way, a lot of those books are actually going to be coming out very soon. We're actually sold out on the majority of my books. But there's a plan right now to actually, so people can actually get to buy some. You can also get to charles.com/shop and then you can see my treasure. By the way, I'm so excited about Fight Back is really going to be one book that's also going to influence a generation of people. I promise you. That book, we've had to call it back on several occasions because of the wealth behind that book. You don't know. It's like, yes, I've been a writer, but I almost invested every other thing into that book. Why? Because the truth of the matter, life is a fight. I'm speaking to you right now because I can breathe. I'm speaking right now because there's something called the heart, there's something called liver, and there are systems that are functional, fighting, to keep me alive. You get that? You're fighting with thoughts in your mind right now. Some of you are hearing what I'm saying. I say, how can I become that person of influence? And stuff like that. So we are always in a fight. So it becomes important for you to understand how to battle through to your place of success, whatever you're looking for. Success in marriage, success in your life, success in your finances. And that's bringing me to the business part, which I think the last part I'm going to talk about. If becoming a person of influence in your business. Listen, one of the reasons why people will buy from others before they buy for you, I've always said you don't have a problem with customers. If you get to my business class, we always talk about it. You don't have any problem with customers. You have problems with attracting, because everybody that can become a customer to you is buying from that person right now. So the question is, why are they buying from others and not from you? You see, in business, we call several names. There are several jargons, there are several names, several terms that will give several. But one key word that will help you today, I'm giving you all this for free. One thing that will help you is to understand the word influence. Marketing is all about influence. Every single thing in life is all about influence. If you're going to be a guy tomorrow and you want to get married and you get to a lady, she is likely going to say a yes or a no to you by function of influence. Influence in her mind, what's she thinking? Is this guy the kind of person I want to spend the rest of my life with? Is he disciplined? Is he responsible? Does he have a plan for his life? Does he have a vision? So many things. So at the end of the things that she can see around you that can make that definition easy, by relating with you, the things that she can perceive about you will now give her, condition her mind, influence her to make that decision. Yes. Or if she doesn't say anything, it will influence her to make a decision. So what am I trying to say? Life and living, business, every single thing is about influence. So how can you start building a positive influence around your customer cluster or your target audience? So the first thing you need to even know, first of all, who are your target audience? Who is your target market, like we call it? So forget about every other word, every other term. I want to make this as simple as possible because it's my goal to see people, attend the foundation success and, get testimonies like I get. Listen, keep pouring in the testimonies. I'm always very happy when after the call, days after the call, people send a text, send something and say, wow, thank you for that point you mentioned, and stuff like that. Thank you also for the invites I've gotten recently. I may not be able to handle a lot of invites because of course, of some reasons that are actually personal to me, but I'm available. You can actually reach me, and if I'm available within the time that you want me to maybe have a speaking engagement place in your church or in your business or somewhere, just let me know. Going back to what I'm saying, so it becomes very important for you to really understand that you need to fill that gap. So in business, number one, you need to know who your customers are. How do you get to influence the general public? Your business is not designed for the general public, except you're into maybe general goods and you sell things that are actually general. But even at that, there are still 1,000, a million people doing what influence becomes very important, very, very critical and very important. I wish I can dig deep into this, but I'm just going to give you some little tips. If you want more of that, you're a business person. Listen, listen. It doesn't make any point. Listen, sometimes we deceive ourselves. It doesn't make any point that your business things are not really going very well with your business, and you keep it all to yourself, or just make assumptions. Another thing I'm going to give you for free also. The most important thing about business is not offering services, not selling it. For me, the most important thing is after. You're not going to hear this any other place. But anybody that known me in recent times, you understand that the most important thing about your business, sustaining your business, getting more influence financially, getting more people to actually get influence towards what you sell is give more attention. Remember, I'm giving this for free. Give more attention to after service than you give to service. Now, in service, we have the word customer service. Give the best possible thing to get them in. But when they get, what do you now do to keep them? What do you now do to move from customer satisfaction to a point of customer loyalty? Because it gets to a point where there becomes loyalty. Then guess what? There's another place, I'm not going to give you that for free, but there's another place where it actually jumps customer loyalty to a place where at the end of the day, that person becomes like a family member. Okay. So you need to be influence around that. There another area also that's actually that, like I say, this is I think you get in the business class. So I'm not going to deceive you. I'm going to give you all the points. There are things you must learn how to pay. There are values you must pay for. So stay where you are and keep doing your business. If it's working for you, amazing, great. Then you don't need. But if you are really interested in giving that business, in moving to the next place, then get on our foundations. Get on our business mastery class every Friday and Saturday. And a very good news about that also, we have actually increased the excellence around that. Before, it just used to be business masterclass, but we've actually made it profit. Now, profit zone was what I've done in several years that till now has actually improved quite a lot of businesses down the years. Profit zone actually started on radio, on my radio programs. I could have a program and then we'd have the profit zone segment where the people on radio and then they subscribe and then they can attend a seminar or something. But you're going to be getting that online basically. And then we're also going to have a physical edition of that coming March. My birthday is going to be March 19th, so we're going to be having a lot of things that will get opened up to you. Okay. So getting back to what I'm trying to talk about. So you want to build influence around it. So the second important thing when it comes to building your business, listen. One of the problems people have with regards to the influence around their business that they are selling to the wrong audience, or rather they are marketing to the wrong audience. Now, one of the problems I have is that when you hang around people that have value for your business is going to die. Guess what? Because you are going to define your business metrics based on the wrong customer cluster. Okay? Give the right product and services to the right audience. For example, if there's a product or a service that you believe is designed for the high top class, yes, some people within the middle class may be able to afford that. But if you're taking, excuse me, a product on that level to the middle class, you're not going to have the level of influence on that particular cluster that you're looking for, on that particular customer segment. So there's something called, except you can create something called a multi-component business strategy, which at the end of the day, you can have one product sold across different audiences, but at different prices. The same soft drink you're going to buy, kiosk, somewhere outside your house, your estate, where you live, where you work, it's not going to be the same price. You're going to buy that same soft drink in a place like Sheraton, in a place like Nikon, like all this. No, it's not the same amount of money because why? They have a multiple kind of. I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to give more. I'm so glad that a lot of people are already subscribing for that particular program. But you need to be part of that because you need to get this kind of dedicated strictly to growing business. Okay, becoming a person of influence starts with you creating a personal brand, which is called identity. Identity is not just about what you have in your head, it's what you've been able to understand. Listen, if you truly understand who you are, people will take you for a ride. If you really understand your value, people are going to place what you, because the question people have been asking you right now, asking you, literally asking you, not in words, literally asking you by their expressions, by their thoughts, and even by their impression, has been a question of who are you? What do you carry? What value do you have? And until you can answer those questions personally, you're not going to influence them in what you say you are. And then you're not going to build habits around habits. And you're not going to build, a level of mastery around what you are called to be. So it becomes very important. Okay. It was Martin Luther King actually said something. He said, if you are a street sweeper, what did he say? He said, sweep the street so well so that someday people can remember and say, wow, that was a great street sweeper that swept the street so well. Your story becomes one of influence. What did Rosa Parks do? Why did she just become an influencer? Just because of an action she took at the end of the day that actually put her on the face of, okay? And you are that same person. But what am I trying to say? Becoming influential like that is not just about gathering what people. First of all, you're gathering yourself, gathering everything about you. But first of all, a believer in everything you do for the person out there. Okay. And then don't also forget what I talked about, the social vices and the social ills today in society. There as a result of when there's a saying that when good men do nothing, evil strives. I repeat that when good men do evil strive. So what is the little thing that you can do now to create influence? For some of you, it could just be stepping out of your house. That could just be one or two people you have always looked at, as people, that are, of no value. You don't take the value of them. You can get them. You know that you can be the reason why someone tomorrow will say will say, they will look at you and say, thank you, change my life. Change my life. I got to look at the story of the likes of so many people with on social media. Well, I don't want to mention names, so I'll just leave it at that part. So, but what I'm saying, you can become the reason that same person you call in maybe a house help. You can be the reason why that person tomorrow can be one of the greatest, one of your greatest testimony. I brag about this all the time. That somebody actually came to me, he was just someone that was just out there, and didn't have to have a good command of English, But I gave that person a space, got that person to read every single day. The person will come to my office. I made sure that person would go back and read a book for a specified period of time. Still, right now, that person have actually gotten a degree out of a university. That person is doing well. That person have gotten married. That person has a child to name. And guess what? That person went back to his local setting and is influencing his entire community. Guess what? What does that make me feel? Happy, of course, and influential. And why do you think I won't want to replicate that same effect every now and then? So what am I trying to say? Make sure that you are a positive influence to everybody you meet. Listen, another reason for doing that is that you just may never know who's going to become destiny tomorrow. There are people looking at you right now. They are following you every single day and time. They are trying to identify and find your weak spots. Why they find your weak spot? Because there are certain opportunities that have not got you right now. Not because you don't deserve it, but you are still on the watch list of certain people. That's actually why I try to live, as somebody. I try to put excellence into everything I do. You just may never know. About some years ago, when I was doing some certain things. And so tomorrow, when someone gives you a call, no, don't think that it was just a mistake. No, they have watched over time. Even recently, I got to see somebody that about people that are really, really influential. Guess what happened? They actually opened up when we got talking, and they were wowed by a lot of things, that exactly what they were looking for and what they thought they were looking for. They found it. Guess the next day, they said they now opened up and said, we have been following you very, very closely on social media. We've been following you closely and seeing the kind of things you do. And guess what? It creates a level of it opens open doors for you. And that's bringing me to the last point on the business, becoming influential in business. Make sure that whatever you are doing, find a cluster where you can influence your audience yourself. That's where the mistake is. So everything is not just about sales, marketing. No, everything is not just about putting every other thing in the front of you. Need to also be able to like show them concern. Okay. Now you're listening to Foundation of Success. The outside Foundation of Success, there are so many other. There are books going to come out of this. There are videos. There are podcasts. There are audio books. There are several things going to come out of it. Guess what? That's exactly how someone actually becomes a bestseller. They didn't just arrive on the scene. For a very long time, they've been creating influence. So when I see someone just come up and you say, they just want to, try to define your life and define something, I begin to laugh. I've been doing this since 2009. I've done this in the farthest of places. I've done this in Abakaliki in Ebonyi. I've done this in several local governments in Ebonyi State. I've done this in Enugu. I've done this in Onitsha. I've done this in Lagos. I've done this in Abuja. I can call names of places I've been. So don't just think I just arrived on the scene. No, keep oiling your gift. There's a mentor I have. That's what he always tells me. Charles, keep stirring. Keep stirring it. In other words, when I get to a point of excellence, I feel that I've arrived. To say, no, you've not arrived. Keep stirring. So I don't want to take more time than we have already taken. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really happy. Remember, go out there, find your seat. Remember, get back with your diary now. The best time sometimes to act is now. Get a diary, get a piece of paper, write down yours. Why is that important? Remember, that seed is what will likely give you the millions in your bank account. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you also for joining in again. At this point, thank you very much. So remember, get those assignments. I remember there's a gift for 7 people that are going to get back to me with their gifts. Remember, just 3 gifts or 3 seeds that you discover yourself. Remember, a seed is anything that actually has the potential to become harvest. All right, so that will be a wrap. Thank you so much for joining the Foundation for Success today, and we look forward to you joining every other time. Remember, it's every Sunday by 4 p.m. So have a great day. My name is Charles Eromosele, and this is Untitled Chapter.